Welcome back to Hardball. We're back with General Richard Meyer, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General, you work so closely with the president, so closely with Rumsfeld. You know, I've noticed something interesting about the president. Maybe this is superficial, cosmetic, but in the past when he's achieved success over there, the initial clearing of that government and taking over the country, mission accomplished was a phrase. Bring 'em on was a phrase he used. He disowned those phrases rather dramatically a couple weeks ago, but then it was clear after this, catching Zarqawi, the #1 bad guy in country. And the president's been very careful not to brag. What do you think's going on? What's that? How's that important, if not?
Well, I think it's important because it's probably true. I mean, catching Zarqawi is a significant feat. It's a necessary condition for Iraqis to be successful, but it's not sufficient. And so I think people are just being cautious and saying exactly what it is. This is a very significant event. But there are other events that are going to have to happen. And it's still a very dangerous place.
What does military history tell you about our likelihood of actually ending the insurgency? Or is it the best we can do breaking it down to a tactical problem that a government can handle? What's our best goal at this point in this war?
I think our best goal has been the goal we've had for some time, and that is to ensure there's political progress in Iraq, to ensure that the security situation improves, mainly through the training of Iraqi security forces and police, and then there's an economic piece of this, an infrastructure that has to stand up and support the people so they get the goods and services that the government would like to provide them.
But at the point we have to leave, whether it's 2 years from now, 4 years from now, what do you think it'll look like as we leave if you meet the president's goal? What would the goal line look like in Iraq?
I think the goal line would look like you've got a government now that, by the way, this is the first government that's had this long time horizon. All the other governments had very short time horizons and not enough time or horizon to do what they need to do. This one's going to be responsible now for 3.5 years from now, and we'll have to produce, and they'll feel that, and they'll want to produce. And I think the goal line will be an effective government, a country that is not divided. They'll overcome the sectarian differences. They'll find a way to compromise. I mean, it's a country with these great riches. Everybody can have a piece of this pie, and it can be one of the richest countries in the Middle East. They've got the water, they've got the human capital, and they've got the natural resources, the oil. So they're farming. I mean, they produce a lot of food there. So there's two big rivers coming through their country. So I think that's the end, and a security force then that is competent in handling internal security, which will right now is heavy in the Army and lighter on the police, and that'll shift over time to more police and less Army, probably.
Do you ever worry that once our troops have done the job and we leave, and there's some cheering on both sides when we leave, and a period of time passes like it did in Vietnam, and it just comes apart?
That's always possible, I guess. It's a difficult region, and that's why the prize over there, I think, is a stable country, democratic country in a region that has seen a lot of instability would be a very good thing. But the Iraqis I talk to are really sincere about. My last visit there in August, talking about the president and said, you know, we ought to be. The first things out of their mouth, meeting with them separately, is we're so sad and embarrassed that your troops are dying for us. We should be doing this job. I mean, there's a sincere desire on the Iraqi leadership to take this country through the turmoil and come out, and I believe they can do it.
Do you sense that you have enough information, having led our forces as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, that the mission is winnable? It's still winnable over there to achieve the goal you set, which is a government that can hold that country together.
You know, where I got my information when I was on active duty is I got it from the men and women in uniform that were serving, and to a person, essentially, they believe that. They believe that that this mission is doable, and they're the ones out working with the Iraqis every day. Now, there's lots of bad news as well as the good news, but in general, they feel this is winnable, and that they can support the Iraqis to the point where they can stand and do this on their own.
Well, thank you for your service, General.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.